In 1998, 6 inmates escaped from NEOCC Level 3 prison here in Youngstown, Ohio, which is widely known as one of the worst institutions that we have as far as drug problems, gangs, weapons, corrupt staff. If you didn't know about this, here's the story. My name's Patrick. Everybody calls me Packy. I did 7 years in Ohio. I got 3 kids, one on the way. I'm engaged to their mom. I do prison, true crime, paranormal, daily vlog, and reaction videos. Come check me out. When I was in prison, we used to have tablets and, TVs too with cable. And I watched the show I Almost Got Away with It. And they were talking about this. And I remember thinking how I never heard about this. Just last night, I told Monique I wanted to go find this exact case to see if I could match my memories with it. And here it is. I actually found it. This claims to be the original article. It says loaded November 15th. It says it happened July 25th of 1998. So either this was on some original, you know, World Wide Web internet shit that was out back then, or they transferred it from a paper article so that it could be digital. But it's the original article. On July 25th, 1998, a half a dozen prisoners, including 4 convicted unalivers, cut through 2 fences and escaped from the CCA-operated Northeast Ohio Correctional Center in Youngstown, Ohio. CCA stands for Core Civic of America, whoever wondered. According to Warden Jimmy Turner, the successful breakout was due to errors by prison employees, including guards leaving their posts, not watching their designated areas, and not promptly responding to motion sensor alarms. The escape was the latest in a series of embarrassing incidents at the problem-plagued facility, which houses approximately 1,500 prisoners from Washington, D.C. Now, they have CCA halfway house and they have NEOCC, which one side is convicted felons. I know this because we brought on Izzy, who was a CO there, and she's talking about doing a second interview here soon. She was explaining to us on my channel how one side is state, one side is federal. Well, these were federal inmates right here. CCA previously had been under a court order to remove maximum security prisoners from the medium security prison. Michael Quinlan, the company's director of planning, promised that CCA would learn from its mistakes and would improve staff training at the facility. Ohio lawmakers, however, weren't interested in apologies or excuses. State Senator Jeff Johnson observed that the escape highlighted a majority distinct something in the middle. I can't read that word because it's blocked out. Privately operated and public prisons. I've been to Ohio prisons and we have some problems, he said. The difference, if the manager screws up and lets 6 people escape in broad daylight, we have the authority to get him out of, and then it blocks it out again. I got to remember that for the future. The record button is blocking it. Motion detector alarms went off at 1:06 p.m., though the escape was not reported to local law enforcement until 2 hours later. According to Youngstown Police Captain Robert Kane, when officers arrived at the facility, they initially were told there was no problem, even though armed prison guards were searching the surrounding fields and woods. Said Kane, in my opinion, the escape was not reported promptly or properly. Youngstown Mayor George McKelvey was more blunt, stating, the facts lead one to believe that there was an attempt to deceive the police or cover up the event. CCA termed the suggestion of a cover-up ridiculous. Following the escape, Ohio Governor George Voinovich announced he was seeking a way to close the Youngstown facility, but a legal analysis by the Attorney General's office concluded that the state had no authority to do so. Ironically, the governor's brother, Paul Voinovich, a prison architect, had lobbied the city of Youngstown for the facility and served as a consultant to CCA. U.S. Representative James Trafficant, the Trafficants and all them, they play a big part into Youngstown's like politics. quickly pushed through the House of Amendment calling for a federal study on prison privatization that would examine security procedures. Ongoing problems at the Northeast Ohio Correctional Center in Youngstown should serve as a wake-up call to the nation. Trafficking said, yeah, that name is definitely tied in with a lot of politics in Youngstown. And CCA has 3 prisons here in Ohio privately: North Central, Northeastern Correctional, and Lake Erie. And go figure, them 3 spots get pretty rowdy. They're not state ran like the state spots that most people go to. These 3 are like completely different. We need to identify possible security and personnel shortfalls at private prisons and effectively address them. A member of the U.S. Senate that he would seek a hearing on classification Youngstown facility. Meanwhile, agents with the U.S. Attorney's Office have began an investigation into whether CCA guard had assisted with the breakout, declined to comment publicly. They suspected a single female collaborated with the inmates to plan the escape. Oh, damn. 5 of the escapees were captured within 2 days, and the 6th was caught more than a month later. Under the Ohio law enacted last March, CCA will have to reimburse city, state, and federal authorities for the cost of the search. On August 3rd, 1998, CCA announced it would transfer about 200 closed security prisoners, that's level 3 here in Ohio, from Youngstown to other facilities within 30 days. U.S. Attorney General Janet Reno said they would be moved to a federal prison or state facility in Virginia. Federal and D.C. authorities are also establishing a full-time monitor at Youngstown. All these names I just said are obviously probably not still there. The mayor, the representatives, they had a lot of different investigations, a lot more than what meets the eye. CCA has been accused of having corruption a lot in the past. They just recently had a drone supposedly dropped off a pew-pew. They've had numerous things. There was just a other situation there where somebody was unalived by like multiple inmates. There was another situation there where somebody was tied up and tortured for days and it wasn't even on the news. These private spots, they love to, lie about shit and try to cover it up. Someone named Nate, who I know, free and sober from Nevada, he's always exposing private prisons in his state. Go check him out for more prison content. But yeah, he would know exactly what I'm saying with this. State level and privately owned are completely different situations. I threw this video together, kind of ghetto like, but it's all the same. I just wanted to get this story out there. If you stuck around this long, 8 minutes and 30 something seconds, I appreciate you. Everybody enjoy your night. Stay safe, stay free, stay blessed.